Hi, this is Johnny from
Hey,
Neverwake. How you doing?
hey, Johnny, what's up?
Oh, nothing. Just giving you a call.
Cool, cool. You just got off tour recently, have you?
Well, not recently, but last year. Yeah, we did a tour with the Veer Union. Um, we did a 30-day tour, which was pretty cool.
Right, yeah, definitely, definitely. You also, you have your latest video, Call Out My Name. That's basically why I got in touch with you because of that song, because, I love the energy and, it really hit home. I loved it, you know?
Oh, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, that was definitely one of those songs that we're excited we're excited that everyone's taking so well to it. It was, when it was created, it was one of those songs that was like the idea was like I was listening to a lot of Soilwork at the time, which is a band that you don't really hear in like mainstream. So to kind of take that idea and make it a little bit more mainstream was pretty sweet.
Cool, cool, cool. Now let's go back to your high school days and stuff like that. Tell me what did you listen to back then?
Oh, geez. High school, I always like to tell people that I'm not an OG metalhead. I was
Right.
never one of the people that grew up listening. I didn't have like the older brother who was like, oh, Slayer. I was, when I first started getting into heavy music, I started listening to Disturbed and I listened to Godsmack, and I took stepping stones to where I am today. I was Disturbed, Godsmack.
Right.
Then I started growing older and started listening to Avenged Sevenfold, and then I started listening to Bullet for My Valentine. Then it got to Trivium, and then it got to Soilwork, and just heavier, 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 heavier. So that's the kind of type. That's like what I grew into, and it's kind of cool because it allows us to root ourselves wherever we first started, and that's where I started. So like, there's a lot of melody in our songs, and you'll definitely hear that. But it's because that's what I grew up on. I never grew up listening to all the hard stuff. I still like to have that melody.
Right. It definitely does. Call Out My Name. Really, it's melodic, but very heavy, and the lyrics are catchy, and the chorus is amazing as usual. So
Thank you.
really cool song. Now, what's your impression when you're doing a show and you got kids waiting, to see you by the tour bus or just standing out hours waiting to just to meet you. What's that feeling like?
The feeling is crazy because when you're a musician and you're doing what you do, that you're in your writing stage, and you know it's all surreal. It started out when you're just a bored kid and you start writing music, and because that's what you want to do, and you might be going through a tough time, and then all of a sudden these people are listening to your music and they love the product that you're making, and they come out to see you. On the Veer Union tour, we had people like South Dakota drive 8 hours to see us, and we were like, "Oh my, are you serious? Like, are you sure that's
Right.
you? Are you sure we're the band you wanted to see? Because that's crazy, and you don't get that firsthand uh, craziness when you're in your at home in your basement writing music.
Right.
You don't get that. Even when people online, you could have people all the time say like, "Oh, I love your music. I love your music," but you never really know until you have that experience where someone comes up to be like, "Listen, I've been listening to you guys for years. You're amazing." It's it's an amazing feeling.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Cool. How about when like you're on stage and they're singing your lyrics?
I'm sorry. What's up? I couldn't hear you. Were breaking up.
Tell me what's the feeling like if like you're live on stage and you're looking out there and the kids know word for word your songs.
What's that like?
Yeah.
First of all, it's like a awesome, gratifying feeling.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. I bet you.
Number two, it helps me a ton because I'm terrible at remembering lyrics. Like honestly, I love looking out in the crowd. People are singing. I'm like, oh, that's the next part, you know, because I'm just awful at it. Sometimes I get inside my head, and we're not exempt from being edgy up on stage and stuff, and it's really cool to see that because then you really know, especially when there's people that you have no idea who they are,
Right.
and this person is singing your entire song, and it means that wow, it really means something to that person because they've remembered everything, and it's something that is powerful to them.
Cool. Cool. Now, Vitality came out in 2011. How much has the band changed since then?
Oh, geez. I mean, we've definitely changed. I like to say that, like, when you first start writing music, it takes a while for you to find out who you actually are, because until you start to just, there's a pattern that happens, that naturally happens, that's like, that consistently shows up over time, and you're never going to be like, oh yeah, this is us and this is what we do, and it's just something that just happens.
Right.
So, but still have the base of who we are. I remember that before Vitality, the little demo that we did, we were in the studio, and it took us like 6 or 7 months to finish. But by the time we had finished that, like recording that in the studio, we were completely different people.
Right.
We were just, our interests were so changed, and the type of music we were listening to was changed. So yeah, we've definitely gotten a little bit harder, and we've gotten a little bit more thoughtful of what we've created. Vitality had a lot of rock oriented stuff in there, but it was definitely, there was some metal in there.
Right.
And then we get onto Sleepwalker, and Sleepwalker was like, just slam out metal all the time. A lot of metal riffs. It's definitely melody, but
right.
riffs here and there and stuff. And then you get into like Incinerate and stuff, and then we definitely like toned it down, and we got a little bit more melodic with how we were singing and how we were structuring our songs.
Right.
So it definitely shows how much you can change when you're just writing music.
Right. Tell me a little bit about Misguided.
About Misguided.
Yeah.
So Misguided that's our next EP, and what's cool about this album is that, so whenever we were writing Incinerate, that album, that EP, that was the one that we just, well, not just, but that's our previous release.
Right.
In the middle of writing some songs for that album, we had Justin Sanford come into the band, and he's a huge gearhead. He's got a lot of guitars. He's had like over 80 guitars in his life.
Wow.
Which is insane. I've only ever had like 4, but that's just the person that I am. I'm I'm comfortable where I am. Anyway, so he, I was never the type of person that was like, man, I need a 7-string, or I want to play like lower strings. And he hands me the 7-string, and he goes, here, I'm going to leave this here for the weekend. Just mess around with it. Let me know what you think. And I had no interest. And I was sitting there one day, I was bored, and I was like, all right. So I picked up the 7-string and start writing some stuff. And the first song that I actually wrote with the 7-string was Suffocate. And that was one of the songs that we decided, that was like the last song that was created, but we decided to put it on Incinerate. And I was like, dude, I really like writing with this now.
Right.
So this Misguided EP is like everything after that point. Like I could have kept writing, and we would have put those songs on the album, but we had already had like decided what was going to be on that album already. So Misguided has a lot of what we were writing at the time, and we were getting into this deeper sound. So it's really cool to show people that darker side of us in that lower key. It's just it's a relief to write something different, and that's what Misguided is.
Right. When's that coming out?
Geez, I'm going to say within the next 2 months. We're all in-house, and we create everything from our own music videos to we're doing our own production. So it's we don't have a label that's like filtering a ton of money through us. So it takes us a while to turn around product, but I would say within the next 2 months. Right now, we do have some pre-orders out on our website that you can check out.
Cool. Was there any talk about vinyl coming?
About vinyl?
Yeah.
Man, I would love to. And actually, the label that we're on right now, Melodic Revolution, the president, Nick Katona, is a huge vinyl, loves vinyl, and he's all about it. Uh-huh. But I still haven't found, maybe it's changed, but I still haven't found the one place that does like a short run of,
right, yeah.
decent amount of vinyl, because it's expensive, and you really, I don't even have a record player, but when I do get one, I would love to hear our album on it. Right. So,
wow.
Very soon, when it makes sense, yeah, of course.
Cool, cool. If you had a chance to play overseas, what country would you like to play?
Play overseas?
Yes.
Oh, geez. I mean, we have a lot of fans everywhere. I mean, Mexico is really big for us. Like, we have a lot of fans in Mexico. We've got a lot of fans actually in Russia too, which is completely different.
Right. Yeah.
But we would love to play anywhere. Honestly, wherever we find out that people are enjoying our music, we would love to, because overseas, it's got a different mentality. There's no stigma attached to these bands. You got people who listen to a multitude of genres over there, whereas sometimes in the United States, things can be very cliquey, and it's harder to break that ice.
Right.
But we would love to play overseas. When we were on the tour, and it's not necessarily overseas, but I mean Canada, when we were doing the tour with the Veer Union, they're from Canada, we were noticing a lot of Canadian fans that started listening to us. And they were like, "Oh, I can't wait to see them when they come to Canada." We actually weren't going on that leg.
Right.
So we took a break off that tour and then picked back up when they dropped down in the United States again. And we were bummed out. We're like, well, pretty soon. We are in talks with some people about doing some overseas tours very soon. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
Cool. Is any merchandise you'd like to talk about that you have available?
Yeah, I mean, we've got our own store. It's oh man, I got to make sure. I think it's store.neverwakemusic.com. Let me triple check that here.
Okay.
Because that's what we have. That's where we have all of our merchandise. Yes, that's store.neverwakemusic.com. And like I mentioned, we do have our pre-orders for Misguided out there. Uh-huh. There's two different types. There's actually just a single, like the CD, and then we have a special pre-order, which is like a box that comes with a key and handwritten lyrics. But all of our shirts out there, listen, I understand that a lot of times when you get a band shirt, the thing is like wearing a burlap sack. It's really not comfortable,
right.
And I don't like that.
Right, yeah.
So all of our shirts, I made sure, I hand selected them, made sure they're super comfortable. So cool. That's sometimes when we're at the shows, we're like, hey, I don't even care if you liked our music, feel this shirt, and they're like, wow, that's really comfortable. We're like, yeah, buy it. If nothing else, if you don't like the music, you're definitely going to like the material.
Cool. You have any goals for this release once it's available?
Oh, I mean, we'd love to get it out in as many ears as possible. We've always been that band that's prided ourselves in sitting between rock and metal, and we always like to hit that goal where we can get our music to that person who's like, man, I'd never listened to this type of stuff, but I love this, and we would love to reach out and break that mold of, well, I don't listen to this type of music, or I don't listen to this type of heavy music, or I don't listen to this light of music. That's always a goal for us. We want to appeal to that genre, that genre-breaking kind of group, because I think it's silly personally. You are who you are, and you never really go and say, listen, we're this type of band, and we got to write like this. If you do that, you're limiting yourself, and it's a shame. And that's not how we like to be. So, yeah, our goal is always to appeal as many people as possible.
Right, yeah, wow. You have any feelings about a physical CD compared to downloads?
Well, I'll tell you what. Physical CD, I mean, it's, times have changed, and it sucks, but if you don't change with it, I mean, right. You're losing. And there is a certain thing about the physical CD, though, because it allows you to display your art, your creativity, and it allows you to immerse people more into what you create. And I've always loved that. Not only that, but having a CD allows you to listen to the entire thing. I was just talking to somebody not too long ago about, I remember growing up and I got a Weezer CD. Uh-huh. And I'm not a big Weezer fan, but you can bet that I listened to that entire CD.
Right.
You know, I know all the on the Limp Bizkit album, Results May Vary. I know every single word to every song, and I was never that big of a fan. But I listened to the whole thing, and it allowed me to appreciate the album and the music for what it was instead of jumping around.
Right.
Now, what you do is people jump around from place to place, and it's harder to really get people into that. You know, let's say you're doing a concept album.
Right. Yeah.
It's pretty tough. To, you know, you really have to. That's one of those things where people got to dive in and really get into it to understand.
Right.
So, but in the same aspect, the way that the internet is now, it allows for so many more ideas and being creative in certain ways that you can kind of get around it. So I'm excited. We have some ideas about, you know, immersing people into concept albums and albums that we have coming out in the future. But, you know, it's probably not going to be physical copies.
Right. Wow. Wow. Well, maybe vinyl will be out. Who knows? You know?
What's that?
Maybe it'll come out on vinyl. Who knows? Right? Possibly.
I'm sorry, you keep breaking out.
Oh, I'm just saying it possibly could come out on a vinyl. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's not that we're never going to ditch physical completely,
Right.
But the days of ordering bulk digital and it's one of those things that's why every time that we order digital or physical copies of something,
right.
We make it really special. Like that's why we're doing our special edition where you get a box and you get the CD and the handwritten lyrics because it's something a little bit more. It's not just the CD.
Right.
Plus, jewel case CDs, I'll tell you what, no wonder people hate CDs. I mean, the jewel case CDs, those things break
right.
and they're terrible.
Uh-huh.
So I don't blame people for being upset about that and not choosing CDs anymore.
Right, yeah. Wow. Well, Johnny, it was good talking to you. Neverwake, got the new album coming out, Misguided. Congratulations. Would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
Hey, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for always being there and appreciating what we do. And that's what we do. We love creating our music, and we love being there for you guys. Follow us on our social media at Neverwake Music. Pretty much every social media is at Neverwake Music. And talk to us. You know, we're not the type of people to ignore people. We like to respond to the fans and chat. So, yeah.
Great. Thanks a lot, Johnny.
Hey, thank you.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.